Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and today I'm going to have a go at one of the most astonishing looking grids I've ever seen. There isn't a number in it, there isn't a line or an arrow or a killer clue. There are a bunch of cages and there is a one-line rule set. Normal Sudoku rules apply, all cages have distinct sums and none contain repeat digits. I'm just going to get on with this. This is exciting. This is by Scott Garrabrant. He's called it Clueless, unsurprisingly, although I'm sure he isn't. But we are quite literally without a clue. You know where to look for all the Patreon Discord stuff. Oh, congratulations to the winner of the Patreon hunt last month. This month, we have awarded that, well, we drew randomly RJ Powers, who won the PBN Institute hunt out of 178 correct entries. Fantastic effort. 45 puzzles there. 178 times 45 is maths I can't do. But that's how many puzzles were done just by the people who finished and sent us the answers. Astonishing. Thank you so much to Panthera the Asylum, and well done RJ Powers. And anyway, Patreon, apps, merchandise, all on the links under the video, along with Discord and so on. But let's have a look at this. This is fascinating. Let's get cracking. I mean, this is one of those where even if you haven't seen a trick before, and I'm certain it's going to be relevant, you would be led to it by the fact that there's nothing else to go on. So what I'm going to do is colour the 2-cell cages and then count them up. And when I start my count, I'm not going to start at 1. So I think all of those are 2-cell cages. Let's do the 3s while I'm here. 3-cell cages we will make green. Best contrast with purple. We've got a couple of 4-cell cages and then a big one. So why am I not going to start the count of how many purple cages there are at 1? Because we know the only clue we really get here is that all the cages have distinct sums. So they all have to sum up to a different number. The minimum size, the minimum amount in a 2-cell cage is a 1 and a 2 because they have to see each other. So that's a total of 3. So that's where I'm going to start the count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and rather as expected, 17. 17 is the maximum number you can put in a 2-cell cage using a 9 and an 8. And what that has told us is that every number from 3 to 17 is in a 2-digit cage. Now let's go further. What is the maximum number in a 3-digit cage? Well, it's 9 plus, well, yeah, they are cages in which there are no repeat digits. So it's 9 plus 8 plus 7, 24. So the number of cages between 17 and 24, or rather from 18 up to 24, is the difference between 17 and 24, is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So all of the sums from 3 to 24 are represented in purple and green. Now, 4-cell cages could go up to 30. So these could be 25 and 26, or they could be 25 and 30, or 29 and 30, any of those combinations. This one could go all the way up to 43 off the top of my head, so we're not really any the wiser. And I have to say, we've done a puzzle on the channel before. I think we've used a puzzle in a puzzle hunt before that have used kind of this trick, maybe at least with the 2-cell cages, possibly also with 3s. But have we ever actually done a puzzle that had no digits in to do that? I don't know, and I rather doubt it, because this one surprised me. And I'm still wondering, as I'm burbling away, how am I ever going to find a digit in this puzzle? 1 and 2 have to go some just don't know. Oh, hang on. Oh, right, yes. Remember that the purples go from 3 to 17. The greens go from 18 to 24. So the blues have to be at least 25. So the minimum total for these two cages is 51. But that is 6 more than the minimum total for this column. And what that means is that that cell is 6 more than the total of those. And we're going to get our first digit now, because the maximum total for that is a 9. The minimum total for those are 1 and 2. And we actually have started. And it means these two do add up to 51, their minimum. And therefore they are 25 and 26. And we have every cage number from 3 to 26 represented. Now this can't be 27, because the minimum total for a 7-digit cage is 7's triangular number, which is 28. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7. And I don't know what to do next. I've got a 9. Now, I mean, that rules the 9-8 cage out of some places, but not many. Literally, it rules it out of being in any of those cages, I reckon. And the 9-7 cage, there must be a 16 total, but so what? Now, what about these two? They have to be at least 18 each. 18 and 19 is 37. So the maximum total for these three is 8, and there must be a 1 in them. That's not much. There's a lot of flexibility around the numbers elsewhere. I suppose these can't... There's only 2 degrees of freedom, meaning if that's 8 at a maximum, that group of 3 cells, the least it can be is 6, because they all have to be different. 1, 2, 3. So between 8 and 6 there are 2 numbers, which are 2 degrees of freedom around these having to be, as I hoped we could say, the 18 and 19 cage. So they could be 19 and 20, or 18 and 20, or 18 and 21. And that's not information. Okay, well, what I was saying at the beginning is you are kind of led to this conclusion that this mattered at the start because there's nothing else given. And I'm beginning to feel that there's nothing else given again. And now that's making me think, oh, hang on, where does... No, I was going to say, where does 9 go in this column? It's in one of those cells. No, that's no good. Okay, what I've been kind of trying to avoid is the business of adding up all the cage totals and seeing what we get to. But I'm going to do it now because there's nothing else to do. I feel it's probably going to be right because you just can't approach this puzzle any other way. So we know that we have, between the purples, greens and blues, we have every number represented as a total in a cage from 3 to 26. Now, which mathematician was it who did something when he was 6 to really impress a teacher? I can't remember. That's really bad. Gauss, maybe. Anyway, this child was asked, well, he was such a maths prodigy that his teacher suggested that he just sit in a corner and add the numbers from 1 up to 100 together. And he just immediately replied, well, that's 5,050. Because he knew the trick, I think, which was to multiply the sum of the beginning number and the sum of the ending number by the number of numbers and then divide by 2. So can I do that? Let's pretend we've got numbers 1 to 26. So now I need to multiply 27 by 26 and divide by 2. And that's the same as multiplying 27 by 13, which is 270 and 81. That's 351. but that includes a hypothetical cage of 1 and 2. So I'm going to take those off. I'm just going to write my sum down here so I don't forget it. 3, 4, 8. So the total of all the purple, green and blue cages is 3, 4, 8. Now I know that the total of a Sudoku, this is a big secret by the way, is 405. And that's because the numbers 1 to 9 add up to 45 every time. And if you multiply 45 by 9, thus adding up every row of a Sudoku, you get to 405. So the difference between those is 57. I'm going to write that down actually, 57. 57 is the total of all the white cells in this puzzle. Now, how does that matter? So the minimum for this one is 28. So let's colour that orange. Oh, that didn't help. There we go. We'll colour that orange. Take out the 57, and the total of the rest, 57 minus 28, is at least, I don't know that this is 28, but the total of the rest is at least 29. No, at most 29. That could be 28 or more. 29 does look like quite a small number. So let's remember 29. And now we try and add up these cells. We have to be careful to count them in their kind of minimum format. So that must be a 1, 2, and 3 at a minimum. This must be a 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's already 16. 6 there and 10 there. That's 16. Now of that 1, 2, 3, 4, this could be the lowest number here. It could be a 1. Sorry, let's highlight them again. 16. So that could be 2 and 3. That's 21. That could be 2 and 1 in column 8. 24. That could be 2 and 1 in column 7. 27. Plus 1 is 29. Have I got that right? So I was aiming at 29. No, I've got that wrong because I said that could be 1. Oh, bother. I thought I was onto it there. Yeah, that could be 4. And that's a problem because that, or 3. And that could therefore be 1 and 2 instead of 2 and 3. Right, let's do the sum again properly. 1, 2, 3 is 6. Plus 4, 10 there is 16. Now this could be 1 and 2 up here, depending on what that number is. So 19, 1 and 2 there is 22, 1 and 2 there is 25, 1 and 1 is 27. So there are only 2 degrees of freedom. These are all very minimum. Not absolute minimum though. I'm going to pencil mark them because I don't know what else to do with the 2 degrees of freedom based on, you see, what I might have missed here is that there might be some way of doing the count such that it comes to a lower number. I don't see how there is. That was 1, 2, but it could go up to 4. Those were 1s, but with the 2 degrees of freedom, they could go up to 3. How can we reduce this count more? Okay, here's a thought. Oh, and the 2 degrees of freedom could get used up in here. That could add up to 29 or 30 if these are all absolute minimum in the white. So let's bear that in mind. We're kind of assessing degrees of freedom in orange and white at the moment. Luckily, there are none in green, purple, and blue. Yes, the thought I was about to have was that we need a certain number of 1s in the cages because there has to be a 3 cage and there has to be a 4 cage. And we've so far presumed a 1 in this 28. In fact, whether this is 28, 29, or 30, it's definitely using a 1 as well. So that's at least 3 1s in the coloured areas. Now, how many 1s can we fit into white? 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, that's 3. 1 there in column 6. 1 in row 5, and 1 each in those two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 7. And we know there's a 1 in the 3 cage and a 1 in the 4 cage and a 1 in the 28 to 30 cage in the 7-cell cage. That's 10 ones. So one of these degrees of freedom goes because we can't minimize these cells down to a total of 27. They're going to have to add up to at least 28. So this can now only be the minimum or one above, 28 or 29. Okay, when I was calculating the minimum number of ones in cages, I ignored the 5 and 6 cage because they could be 2, 3 or 2, 4. And what that's now suggesting to me is maybe I need to count the 2s as well. But maybe I should count the 1s and 2s because certainly up to 5, 6 is a cage. Yeah, that's really interesting. The 3 cage is going to use 1, 2. That's 2 of them. The 4 cage is going to use a 1. The 5 cage is going to use either 1 or 2. And the 6 cage is going to use either 1 or 2. So that's 5 instances of 1 and 2. Now we've definitely got 2 instances in the orange cage. That's 7 we're up to. So after that, there are going to be 18 1s and 2s, big secret in a Sudoku grid. So I've got 11 more to attribute in the white cells. But I'm positing 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. That's 6 already. 2 there in my assumption is 8. 2 there is 10. 1 there and 1 there is 12. Ah, it's the same. Is that right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. We've got 2 in the 3 cage, 1 in the 4, 1 in the 5, 1 in the 6. We don't have to have 1 in the 7. So that's 5. We've got 2 in the orange cage. That's 7. And then we've got, I think there's a maximum number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 19. So one of them is false. Oh, I'm just trying to work out how many degrees of freedom we've got rid of there. Is it 1 or is it 2? If we can't have... I think it depends on how many 1s and how many 2s this can be. This is quite hard to juggle. I mean, I thought the maths earlier was a bit hard to juggle, but counting these numbers of 1s and 2s is hard. I think we're onto something. Let's just try and think it through more carefully. So just up here, I'm going to write the cages. We must have a 1 and a 2 for 3, a 1 and a 3 for 4. Let's say a 1 and a 4 for 5, and a 2 and a 4 for 6. Well, no, let's not. I don't know quite how to think about this. I think this is vital that we get this sorted. This could currently be 28 or 29. It must use 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And 6, I think. Yeah. This now must use 1 and 2 and either 3 or 4 because we're down to 1 degree of freedom, allowing for the fact I need to get this clearer in my mind. I'm sorry. I'm going to go through it again exactly the same way. So a 3 has 2. The 3 cage has 2 of 1 and 2. A 4 has 1. A 5 has 1 and a 6 has 1. That's 5 of them. There's 2 in the orange cage. That's 7. None of the green cages will have 1. That's fine. Then 2 there is 9. 2 there is 11. This is the maximum. 2 there is 13. 2 there is 15. 2 there is 16. No, 17. And then 1 in each of those is 19. So that's too many. So in one case, we don't have 1, 2. We have at least 1, 3. So how do we... I think I can take 3 out of those cells and 4 out of these based on the count I'm doing at the moment. I can take 5 out of those. These now can only be... Not sure. I don't think 6 is possible because we've lost 1 degree of freedom. Yeah. But I don't know what this means. Does the geometry matter? Because that's a 1-2 pair. I don't know. Oh, well, out of all the ones... Am I minimized on... I mean, am I maximized on the number of 1s to achieve this? Maybe I am. So there's clearly a 1 there. Where can we put 1s in? Oh, the trouble is another cage somewhere will be a 1-3 and one will be a 1-2. So no, I was going to highlight them by boxes and that's not going to work. I just need to figure this out. 7 can be 3-4 and 8 can be 3-5. Maybe we run into too many 3s if we... I mean, I hadn't thought about that. So again, let's have a look at the minimum cells. 1, 2, 1, 3. Trouble is 1, 4, let's say that. Then 2, 4 for the next one. Yeah, I haven't been forced to use a 3 again. Now 7 is going to have to be, or it could be 3, 4. I just don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Come on, think about it clearly. I think we've got to have a 1, 2 there. We've got to have a 1 in those two because we've only got this 1 degree of freedom in terms of the number of 1s and 2s. One, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2, 4. We're using 5 in those first 5 small cages. We're using 2 in the orange cage, that's 7. Then 2 there would be 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 18, 19, and that's too many. So one of these is not 1 or 2. One of these cells I've highlighted, but the trouble is when I say those two, I can mean any of those two. Oh, does that mean... I don't know what it means. Minimizing it gives me too many 1s and 2s, so something has to be higher. Where is the something that has to be higher than its minimum? It's not going to be 3 becoming 4 here because it's 1s and 2s we need to change. So that is a 1, 2, 3 triple. How does this work? I can't do this balancing. I can't do this balancing in my mind. I hope the maths earlier was right, because I got the maths wrong by 1 for a few minutes yesterday, and that really hurt. But I mean, it hurt my soul, but it didn't hurt my pride. I'm used to that. How many ones? Maybe how many ones and twos? I know that's what I've been doing all the time. How many ones within that, though? If you maximize... Yeah, because a lot of these are going to have to end up being ones, aren't they? I bet those will end up being ones, but I don't know how to prove it. Yeah, it's something to do with ones next. Because in the minimum version, those have to have a 1, those have to have a 1. There's clearly 1 there. Ah, there's got to be 1 in the orange cage somewhere. In the minimum version, those are also 1s. And then to get a 1 in box 9, it's there, and then you have 1 there. In the minimum version, that has too many. So we'll get a 1 here. Then that becomes a 1, so that's not. There's got to be a 1 in the orange cage, which has to be in one of those two. So they could all be 1s. Oh, but then where would the 1-2 cage go? Where would the 1-2 cage go? The purple 1-2 cage? It can't be up here in box 1, because 1 and 2 are in separate cages. And 1 is in a white cell or an orange one everywhere else. So there's nowhere for a 1-2 cage to go. So that is a huge problem. What do we do about that? How can I posit? Well, there must be a 1 in that group, because we've only got 1 degree of freedom. I think there must be a 1 in that pair. There must be a 1 in this row somewhere. There must be a 1 in all of these pairs, because we don't have the degree of freedom. Now here, they don't have to be 1s, I don't think. But I think that's a lot of 1-2 possible locations ruled out. This can't be 1-2 and this can't be 1-2. Let's give them a bit more colour. If they can't be 1 and 2, these two clearly can't. They're in a cage. These are in a cage with a 1, so's that. Ah, there's a 1 or 2 there, so these can't be 1 and 2. There as well, so that can't be. And in that column, if this pencil marking is right, one of 1 or 2, I mean 1 and 2 have to be distributed between those cells, so they can't both be here. So there is 1 of 1 or 2 there, and now these can't be 1-2 cages. This can't be, because this cell can't be 1 or 2. And if that is right, I'm left with 1-2 being here, which seems... I don't know how reliable this conclusion is. But it does make things interesting if that's right. I think that's right. I think this is 1-2. All the other purple cages have been ruled out by where I believe a 1 has to go, because we don't have the degrees of freedom to make it different. Ah, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Let's go back to counting 1s again. No, we'll go back to having a total of 27 to play with. Now I'm wondering, no, it's 29. And the minimum is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 6, 12. 1, 2 is 15. 1, 2, 3, 4 across here is 25. 1 and 1 is 27. But that needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ones. So that's impossible. But it does mean that one of those that I've said has to be a 1 to achieve the minimum is not. And whatever that one is not, now I have 2 degrees of freedom, so 2 of them could not be 1s. And that's not going to prove where the 1-2 cage goes. Oh, I'm sure this is the way to do it now, though. Let's see how far I can get just on the... Let's go back to the pencil marking I had at the maximum. Right, here. So these I'm certain about. These go to the maximum numbers. That must have a 1 and 2 in, because it either adds up to 6. Oh no, it could be 1, 3, 4. Oh, bother. That could be 1, 2 or 2, 3. Is this... Okay, well, let's try it like this anyway. Still, these can't be a 1-2 pair. You can't have a 1-2 pair in there because there's definitely a 1. This pair adds up to 3, 4 or 5, so it must include a 1 or a 2, so that's not a 1 or a 2. This pair similarly must involve a 1 or a 2, so that's not. That pair also does, so those aren't the 1-2 cage. This one I don't know about. That's interesting. Now up here, yes, that is 1 or 2, and so is that. So these can't be 1-2 cages. That's better. So down in this corner, the 1-2 cage is down in this corner. Now if that was 1-2, that would be 3. That would have to be 4. Well, it wouldn't have to be 4. Wow, I mean the 1-2 cage is down here somewhere, so that's quite interesting. Okay, think about the orange 1-2. It's split between those 4 cells. So for that to be a 1-2 cage, we would have to have 1 and 2 there. For that to be a 1-2 cage, just feel there's some plank I have not put into place here. To do with the number of 1s or the number of 2s. Maybe it's all the small numbers up to a certain level. Oh, I'm struggling here. Sorry, folks. This is weird. 33 minutes in, got 1 digit in the first 5 minutes and nothing since. I know that 1-2's down here somewhere. Now, if it's there, that becomes a 3. If it's there, that can't be minimum. That's already 3 or 4 then. That becomes a 3. It can't be here because that would lose 2 degrees of freedom from a 1 and that would lose 1 as well. So it's not there. That's an interesting way of looking at it. If it's here, or here, where's the problem with this being a 1-2? If it's here, that becomes a 3 and you've lost all the degrees of freedom from everywhere. If it's here, that becomes a 3, and you've lost all the degrees of freedom. And if it's here, that's a little less decisive. Although you lose 1 degree of freedom here. Oh, and 1 here. Because I was positing that this would have to be a 1-2 pair, wasn't I? Because that was going to be a 1 at the minimum, and that is 1 of 1 or 2. And that's a 1-2 pair at the minimum. So if that's 1 or 2, we lose all the degrees of freedom in those 4 cells. Therefore, this has to be 1 and 2, because we've lost all the degrees of freedom somewhere else. So whichever of these is true, if it's that, we lose the degree of freedom in those 2 rows. If it's that, well, the same... Actually, no, it can't be there, because you lose the degree of freedom in both rows and in that cell. It's not there. It's in one of these 2 places. Here, I can't see why not. It would require 1 and 2 there, but I think that is doable. Now, it's in one of those 2 places. So there's definitely a degree of freedom lost in this row. This can't be a 1-2 pair anymore. That means I can take 1 degree of freedom back everywhere else. This can't be a 1-2 pair. Well, it can't have a 4. It could be 1-2 or 1-3. There must be a 1 in one of those 2 cells. This, I've lost 1 degree of freedom there for sure. Oh, come on. Which of these? Why can't I work it out? What other effects does that have? If that's 1 or 2, one of these can become a 3 or a 4. Oh no, I've lost the 4. Oh no, because it's squeezing that row. So I can't affect those cells, but I can take 6 out of those. This one is seeing a 1 and 2 or 3 above it, so it can't be a 1 anymore. Come on, keep going, keep going, keep thinking about these 2. 1 and 2 is in one of those. Placing 1s and 2s as they would have to be. That would have to be a 1 or 2. Would it? No, that could be a 3. That's not true. It's definitely a 1 and 2 there. Well, we'd need 1 of 1 or 2. Yeah, these can't become 3 and 4, can they? So that's not 1 and 2. That doesn't help. I can't even decide which I think is more likely. That feels more likely in some ways as it straddles a box. But that only has an impact on that cell. And it has a very neat effect up here. That would place 1 and 2 here, 1 and 2 here. Where would the other 1 and 2 be? Somewhere, well, that would have to be 1 now, because we'd have lost the degree of freedom that allows it to be a 3. This might be. I can't see why. Maybe this is the harder one to justify. If there was a 1-2 pair here, then we lose the degree of freedom. These all come from 1, 2, 3 now. Oh, come on. It's not this hard, I'm sure. I probably don't have to do it by Sudoku. I think I'm missing something in the the count of possible low numbers that can fit into this grid. I really do. So let me just think about that one more time. I don't know. Got 2 degrees of freedom in the white cells, but one of them is going to be removed. Well, 2 of them would be removed by that. All the degrees of freedom would be removed by that. Whereas this, that would remove the degrees of freedom in those rows. Now, either way round, if that was 1 and 2 and that was 3, yeah, no, well then that doesn't have to be 1 or 2 anymore, so that... Maybe it's this that's less likely. Why is this less likely? Because having removed the degree of freedom there, this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4 along here for definite. That's 1 or 2, so that's 3 or 4. That has to be 3 or 4 because the degree of freedom has gone. Yeah, so this or this is using up all the degrees of freedom. That's what I'm not allowing for. That's massive. This is using up both degrees of freedom along here. And this is using up both degrees of freedom in this cell. So either way, everything else that is not affected by those does come down to the minimum. But these are affected, but those come down to the minimum, and those do. So that's not a 2. So if that's 1 and 2, 3 and 4 are going to be in those cells, with 1 and 2 in those. This has become a 1. 1, 2, 1, 2. Which one is true? I just cannot work it out. It's here, it's sitting here, right in front of my face. The answer is there somewhere. If that was 1, 2. Oh my goodness, now this is 1 or 2. Both of 1 and 2 can't be there. That's got to be 1 or 2. To fill 1 and 2 in orange. The other one's in here somewhere, but they can't both be there because of that. Now, if 1 and 2 was here, then the others of 1 and 2 will be there because we've used the degrees of freedom in the rows. And that's not going to work because they would have to be 3 and 4, and that would also have to be 3 or 4. Wow, that is incredibly complex, but once that becomes one of 1 or 2, this is no longer possible because that will mean the other 1 and 2 in column 3 have to be here where 1 is forced. That has become a minimum. Suddenly these can no longer be the minimum because 3 of them would then have to be 3 or 4. So that is not 1 or 2, and it is here. Wow, that I'm sure you don't have to do it like that, but hey, and now we're in business. This thing that has to be a 1 in the minimum count has now become a 3. That uses up all the degrees of freedom. Everything else can go to the minimum, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4 across there, a 1, 2 there, 1, 2, 3 here. These are 1, 2 pairs now, and we can start filling in some numbers. 2, 1, two there. The one in the orange now has to go here. That is helpful as well. This becomes 3. Ooh, horrible deadly pattern, but I'm sure it'll be resolved somehow. I mean, at least we can be confident we're right now. I'm sorry this has taken so long, but this is absolutely fascinating stuff. Now, the one in the middle row is actually fixed. It's here. That can't be 2. That's the 2 in the middle row. Can't resolve the 3 and 4. Not so worried about them at the moment. Are these not done? Am I missing how those are resolved? Have I got every 1 and 2 marked? No, I need a 2 in one of those 2 cells. Now, the small cages, I've got my 3 cage. One of these could be 1, 3, making 4. Where else can a 1 go in a purple cage? Literally nowhere. No, literally nowhere. So the 3 is up there. It's a 1, 3 cage. Okay, let's get rid of the yellow colouring because that served its purpose. Right, now, do I think about the 5 cage next, which can't have a 1 in it, which is 2, 3. Where can 2 go in a purple cage now? Well, one of these 2, yes. Not that one, because 3 is there. Right. 2, 3 can't be up there because the 3 is going with a 1. I'm now going to eliminate all the other cells, the other cages I can see. Let's do a different colour. Let's do purple and... Oh no, okay, we'll do purple and yellow again. Can't be here or here. 2, 3 cage. Can't be here or here. Can't be here. 2, 3 cage. Clearly can't be here. I'm going to completely run out of places. Can't be there. Can't be here because the 3 is locked up there. It's got to be down here. Now I'm getting worried that I've done something wrong, but this works for now. 2, 3. I think that's going to be right, actually. I really do. So let's get rid of the yellow colour again, because that has served its purpose again. Now we get a 4 here, 3 here. This has become a 1, so that fixes all the remaining 1s and 2s, apart from the top rows. And I've done 5. Now 6 is going to be 2, 4. Oh no, where can I put a 2 in a cage? Well, up here, yes. Is there anywhere else that could be 2, 4? No, definitely not. So it is up here. That's a 3, 4 pair. And we know roughly the positions of 3, 4, 5, and 6, although I don't know which way around they are, but they're all done. Now 7 can't have a 1 or a 2 in it. We've used them all up. It's got to be a 3, 4 cage. So here we go again. Where is a 3, 4 cage? Well, it's not there. This is brilliant, by the way. It's not in that box. It's actually not there or there, because that is 3 or 4. So they couldn't be made up and still allow that. It's clearly not down this column. It's not in this column where there's already a 4. It's not in this box where there's a 3. It can't be here. That cell can't be 3 or 4. And look, we've found 3, 4 down here. That is the weirdest way of going about this puzzle. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, do we keep going? 3, 5 must be 8. Yes, where's 3 going to go? Well, there is a 3 there just by Sudoku. So that is a big candidate for 3, 5. Oh, there's got to be a 3 in this box. It's got to be here. Yes. Okay, so that sorts the 1, 3 cage and the 2, 4 cage. That fixes the 1, 2 deadly pattern, which wasn't deadly. 4 is in the cage as well. That can go there. Never mind the 3, 5 cage. Oh, there's got to be a 3 here in the blue. Have we done all the 3s? Yes. So the one in a purple cage waiting for its 5 to take it to the ball is there. Brilliant. Now, there's got to be a 9 cage, and it can't have a 3 in it. So it is 4, 5. Let's work it out. Can't be either of those. Can't be either of those. Can't be down this column. Oh, please don't run out of places. All of those are impossible. It's got to be down here. 4, 5. This is magnificent. 10 is going to be 4, 6. Oh, I can see a likely place. It certainly can't be here, 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 in this box, in those rows. Yep, that's 6, 4. That is fantastic. Can we keep going? 11. No, let's place a 4 there. And another one, no, not there, there, I think. And one more here. Wow. So it's 11 next. It can't use a 4 because there's no 4 waiting for a partner in a purple cage. So 11 is 5 and 6. Now that might be a bit harder to rule out at this point. In fact, I'm struggling to rule any purple cages out from being 5 and 6. And maybe that trail of madness ends here. That has been fantastic. Oh, look, this is 7, 8, 9. There's the 24 cage straight away. This is now minimum because we used up the degrees of freedom here. So that's 5, 6, 7. That's worth remembering. 8, 9 pair there for the box. These are from 5, 6 and 7 only, and that can't be a 5. So that's one candidate for the 5, 6 cage. This is an 8, 9 pair, so that's the 17 cage done. Wow. Or maybe I need to start thinking in those terms. Where does the... No, I don't know. I'm not going to do that yet. These are from 7, 8 and 9 just for the row. Oh, 9 is looking at that cell, so that's actually resolved. 5, 7 and 6 down here. I have a feeling I'm going to be juggling 5, 6s and 7s for a long time. 5, 7, 8 and 9 are the possibilities in this column. Can't be 7, 8, 9, so there's definitely a 5 there. So these are from 6, 7, 8 or 9. Can't be a 6, 7 pair because of that. Not very interesting info. Okay, let's have a think about these. These add up to 6 now. So these add up to 39. That does leave them degrees of freedom. It's either 19 and 20 or 18 and 21. Well, that can't be, and that could be in any of those. Oh no, hang on, there's a 9 in this cage. In fact, these are from 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now, minimum is 18, no, maximum is 21. Bother, that's my minimum and maximum that I knew from the box as well. But 9 is in one of these two, so 13 plus... Oh, that's really unhelpful. Two, 4, 3, 1. I don't know. 3, 4, 1, 9, 2. Oh, the 9 is looking at that cell, so that's resolved. Actually, I could have put a 9 there because I knew that cage had to have a 9 in it. 3, 4, 8. That can't be 8. So another pair from 5, 6, 7. And this... this can't be 8, 5 because that would be 13 and make that 6, 7, which would be 13 as well. So we get a 6 or 7 there by quite a nice deduction. So there's definitely a 5 here. So this either adds up to 11 or 12. If there's a 5 here, this is the other of 11 or 12. Let me get rid of some of these cages. So I've done 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, the construction on this is amazing. And 17. So let's grey those out. So the remaining plain purples are between 16 and 11. So one of them is a 9-7 pair, making 16. And there's only these possibilities left. That's quite interesting. Maybe I need to think about the green sums apart from here. We're counting, well, we've done 24 there, so the rest are 18 to 23. So one of them is 9, 8, 6. which can't be there or there. Can't be here. Can't be here. There's no 6. So one of these two is 9, 8, 6. If it's here, that's the 8, and that's a 9, 6 pair. If it's here, that's a 7. Nine, 8, 6. Ah, and where's 22? Is that in these two cages again? Or can that oh, it could be 5, 8, 9? Yeah, it could. No, it couldn't. This could not be 5, 8, 9, because that would put a 7 here and an 8, 9 pair here. Now we'd have an 8, 9 pair there, and we can't fit one in up there. So this is not 5, 8, 9. That's not 22. None of the others are candidates for 22. Can't be there or here. So these are 23 and 22. This is either 22 by being 9, 7, 6. It can't be that. This can't be 22. It can't have a 5 in it. And it can't be 9, 7, 6 because that is 9, 7 or 6. So this is 23. Wow, 9, 8, 6 there. We get a 7 here. This one's 22, so that's a 9, 6 pair. That takes 9 out of these cells, so that's 8, 7, 5, making 20. So this is now a 21 and an 18 pair. I still don't even know which way around they go. This is either 5, 6, 7. It can't be that. Now I do know which way around they go. This can't be 5, 6, 7 because there'd be no fill for that. So this is 6, 7, 8. Making 21, and that's a 5. And this isn't 5 or 7, that's 6. There's our 11 cage. No, this could still be 12 or 13. But 21 there, 31. These two add up to 14. Yes, they're 5 and 9. Sorry, that's very clear. This isn't a 9. Oh, these aren't 7 or 8. That is a 9. Wow, this is mad. I haven't thought about these blue cell cages. They're going to be, what was it, just over 24. So 25 and 26, 13 and 12 or 13 there. Bother. There must be an 8 here. 25 or 26, already using 20. Well, that can't be a 7 because there must be an 8 here, and it can't, that would make it add up to 27, which is too many. So if this can't be a 7, it's an 8. I think that logic is right. That is 6 or 7. Now, I don't know whether this is... Oh yes, it can't be 27, so that's a 6. Yes, I do. So we've got the 15, but that's in the middle of my run. Now, 7 and 5 are done there. So we've got 25 and 26. They're done. We've done 23. Let's colour that. We've done 22. We've done 21. We've done 20. That's 18. So this must be 19 now. Yeah, we've done 17. That's the first one above purple. So this is 19. So these two add up to 15. They can't be 8, 7 because of that pair. So it's a 9, 6 pair. Now, one of these had to be 9, 7. It can't be here now. And it can't be here. There's got to be an 8 here, in fact, in this box. So that's 9, 7. So now we've done 16 and 15 going down. We've got 14, 13 and 12 left to complete. That could be 13 or 12. This is 13 or 14. Oh, but this has become a 6 by its box, hasn't it? 9. So there's an 8, and well, it can't be, no, hang on. Oh, this is 8, 5, that's 13. So that's 8, 6, 14. This is 13, no, 12, that's what we needed. Is that right? 11 we've done, I've lost track now. 14, 13, this is 12, yes, and 11, yes, this is 12, 7, 5. Yes, okay, that's cool. 9 and 6 can be done. I think we're just filling in numbers now. Let's get rid of all the horrible dark colouring if we can. There we go. Back to pleasant colours. 8, 9, 6 there. 8, 6, 7 there. 7, 9. I think we're going to suddenly finish, and I am literally going to punch the air for that. What an incredible puzzle, just over the hour. I mean, there must be a way through that stuff early on. I got so bogged down. Oh, sorry, that should be purple, and that's purple again. I got so bogged down with those minimums, 1s, 2s and 3s, and working out which of these was a 1, 2, so hard. I mean, I believe the logic worked in the end. It may have been very difficult for me to articulate it clearly, in which case, apologies to Scott, but that has been great fun all the way through. Thank you so much. Thank you for following along with me. Well done if you got that done quicker. I just don't see that as easy. What a brilliant puzzle. I mean, what a puzzle. Not a number in the grid, not a numeral clue. Incredible. Thanks, Scott. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again soon on the channel. Bye for now.